What do you say about the Final Fantasy VII Remake? Good or bad? Arts Engineer, I still haven't come to a full conclusion. Without a doubt, the worst parts of the remake are all of the extra parts that they put in. And the remake utterly destroys the excellent flow of events that happens in the original, which is, like, of all the things you can moan about, I think that is personally its biggest sin. All the excellent storyboarding and A to Bing that decisively gets you towards the end of Midgar is lost in the remake. Now, it's lost for the sake of making it really, really long and padded out, so it's an entire gaming experience from start to finish with its own bosses. It does many things wrong, but it does a whole load right. It's like a wonderful, beautiful bastard of an attempt. The combat mechanics, I think, are genuinely as good as you could make them. To be both ever so slightly aware of its roots in the old turn-based system, but slightly irreverent of them at the same time, so that it could give you a bit of a pacier experience. And we've had plenty of other Final Fantasy games since 12 to give us the... Come on, kid. Mate, get down. To give us the experience of characters doing automated actions in the background. But when it misses stuff, it really fucking misses stuff. The shot choices, the storyboarding isn't as good. One of the main things about the original Final Fantasy VII game, when you're down there under the plate, the whole point is that it's always nighttime. And even in the areas where the plate is broken above, because there's so much smog, the sun still doesn't come through. That's the whole point of life in the slums. So the fact that there's like an area where you've got some beams of light which hit the church where Aerith is, and like some beams of light that catch where her house is a super rare thing. In the remake, it's just nighttime, daytime whenever you bloody want it. There's beaming daytime light everywhere under the slums. Hashtag not my slums. The music. Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997. And since then, we have had many an amazing remix or cover of the classic Nobuo Uematsu score. Even as late as Final Fantasy Advent Children, again, remixes, different covers, doing something that I really liked. By the time we got to the Final Fantasy VII Remake, honestly, I think the t-shirt's been put in the washing machine one too many times, and it's starting to get raggedy. Do you know what I mean? Because when the Final Fantasy VII Remake music was good and old school, it was great. But when it was bad, it was notably bad. So it's difficult. It's difficult. And the thing is part of why I'm just always in and out is that, now don't get me wrong, is it worth playing? Yes. If you say I like Final Fantasy, is the remake worth playing? Without a doubt. Because at the very least, I don't know how I feel. I'm talking about it. There's good points and there's bad points. It's not bland and meh. It's A to B. It's like this clock here. Pendulum swinging from left to right. I love it. I hate that they've done this. I love it. I hate that they've done that. I don't want to gain my summons from a virtual reality experience made by a stalking weird kid. That is a terrible concept and terrible writing for summon materia. But I'll forgive it. It kind of tries to validate itself. Okay. The reason why it semi-validates itself, and I'm not giving away spoilers for the game, but I am about to give away a massive spoiler for the world in which the game is set. So cover your ears for the next 20 seconds if you've not played it and you want to. Part of how the game validates itself is the ending, where it kind of hints at the concept that Aerith and Sephiroth, being beings which are both, well, Aerith's a pure-blood ancient and Sephiroth's half ancient, half alien, they seem to both be latently aware that they've changed the course of their fate. Obviously, that's a big thing. To the point that it kind of suggests the original Final Fantasy game that we've all loved is set in an alternate dimension to the one that we're playing now. And if you want to go multiverse in my Final Fantasy games, and I don't think we've ever done that before. I don't think we've ever had the multiverse concept in any other Final Fantasy title. That's never been its bag. If you want to go multiverse with this shit, then yeah, because you're no longer trying to remake the game that I love. You're saying to me, we're presenting a completely different story. And that makes me far more willing to accept it. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to put this